might have earned myself a blister today.
With your rock climb.
Yeah.
Good job.
That was so much fun.
It was good.
That was so much fun. I was sitting there climbing, and I'm like, that was good.
He is recording, so.
Yeah, that was good. No, but I'm sitting there, I'm climbing, I'm like 3/4 of the way up the wall, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, how am I supposed to take a selfie right now? And like, and show everyone, like, be like, look, see what I'm doing a thing. I finally just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Man, I started doing that a lot, like with things like, you know, like I'd put the GoPro on when we were doing snowboarding and want to take pictures of the guys and put up there and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting to where I was like, fucking man, this is my spot.
Yeah.
This is me enjoying my spot. Like, there's more. I put more about stuff that the kiddo and I were doing. Because I liked it, because I have that separate Instagram that it's mostly my kiddo, man. It's mostly her. Because I got my family and my closer friends are all on that one. And so everybody can kind of keep up. Because, I mean, that's, to me, one of the best parts of social media, if not the best part of social media, is that you're able to share with family so much easier, man. You just put it here and everybody can go look at it whenever they want.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my Facebook is for, is for family. Instagram's for more like creative stuff.
Boats and hoes.
This is a family channel, Levio.
It's all right. We haven't started yet.
I don't think you have to bleep that part out, man.
Boats and hoes? No.
Boats and hoes.
Whatever.
But yeah, no. I mean, if you try and capture every moment of what you're doing, and you are doing it with the intent of posting it on social media and sharing it, you're losing the value of the activity. That
you're not in the moment.
You're not in the moment at all.
And, yeah.
And that's and it turns into labor, because you're like,
Yeah.
I got to get this shot, and I got to get this shot, and I'm thinking about, you know, how many likes I can get with a picture that looks like this. Eventually, you just got to say, fuck it, man. If you get a good picture in the moment, cool. Like everyone lined up, right? Everyone, you know, lined up, smiling.
And that's for y'all.
I feel like I've definitely,
you know what I mean? That's where going back on, y'all can look at that later. Like, that's
absolutely.
what I meant by that. Like, you know, when we used to take pictures with cameras and have to have the film developed, like, we knew, like, we're at an event or out with somebody, or, you know, I mean, this is for us in our photo album later. It wasn't to share with the world, man.
Yep.
It's a different perspective now.
Yep.
I feel like I've definitely taken a hiatus on social media just to really live life. It doesn't mean that I'm not doing things behind the scenes, but I'm not as active.
You have to reset, though, too.
Yeah.
You can't just stay in it
This has been
constantly.
a resetting period. Like, it's exhausting to keep up with social media.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't speak on that. Everybody's on it. I don't have the mental stability for it at times. Like, it's a lot of...
You know, I it's funny, every time I see, like, a motivating post about how much time we spend on, like, Instagram or social media, I'm always watching it on Instagram or social media. It's always funny. I'm always cracking up going like, oh, shit, I should put this down.
Yeah, I'll scroll through and I'll check updates from, like, people I'm following or whatever. But if you look at my feed, I post maybe once every 2 months.
Unfortunately,
like
I'm the opposite. I post and then I don't go on. So I'm a ghost follower.
No,
I don't like
though.
other people's stuff. I don't interact. Like, no, it's not okay, because that's
you're
why
beating the algorithm
my interactions are so down, because people are like, she doesn't ever like my stuff. Why would I reciprocate?
Well, okay, yeah, but
the people that are close
but you know
to
what,
me
the majority,
in that sense.
yeah, but the people that are close to you, man. But like, you have 18,000 followers, not 18,000 friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You have people that follow you for your content that they don't hang out with us. They don't communicate with us.
Yeah,
well, not in the way we'd like them to anyway. But like, as far as that goes, my phone. Do you get the update every Sunday on how much time you spend screen time and
I turn
what apps?
No, I turn that off.
Oh, so I now that I got this phone, it shows me every Sunday. I open it up and I looked at it and I was like, it gives you an average per day how much screen time
Yeah, no, I don't want my phone telling me how much I'm neglecting my family.
So
please don't tell me the honest truth.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't
like it.
I don't want to face reality.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what it'll show you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It'll show you every day of the week, and then the amount that you used on each day. So what's funny is, like, you know, we were driving 3 hours each way to go snowboarding every Wednesday. I had, you know, a YouTube video playing or Spotify playing or whatever.
It's something in the background.
And so obviously Wednesday was big time on there. Well, it shows you screen time in the vehicle versus not in the vehicle too.
Really?
Yeah. So it shows you what you got screen time in the vehicle, where I'm like, I wonder how many people it's Messenger while they're on their vehicle. You know what I mean? The only thing that sucks is it doesn't know when you're driving and when you're not driving. So like when I get to work, I do my Wim Hof breathing shit in the truck before I get out and go into work. And I even try to get like a few minutes of meditation after that, because it puts you in a good spot like that. And so this most recent time, man, like Wim Hof was one of the top 3. And I'm like, I ain't doing that while I'm driving. But it shows up, that's my screen time in the truck, because I'm playing it across my Bluetooth.
Gotcha.
So it's recognizing that it's in the vehicle. So, but anyway, I guess the whole point I was getting at was, you know, Instagram was in the top 3 the first couple times I ever noticed that. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize how much time I'm like scrolling through. And I'm like, it's mind numbing, dude. The more I pay attention to it and the more I notice how much I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I realize, like, what am I even doing this for? I could have been over here doing this. Like, it's made such a difference for me. I'm actually glad that thing was doing that for me, and it was showing me, because now the most time I spend on Instagram now is posting stupid shit in my
in the stories
that I put on there. And you know why I do that? Because I get a ton of reaction from people that are laughing and cracking. You know what I mean? I get a ton of responses from that stuff. And people are laughing along with the same shit I thought was funny.
Oh, the one you had, what was it? The cat got rescued out of the hole.
Oh, and then knocked himself out.
And then ran right into another hole.
He knocked himself out, too.
That shit was
If you look at the end of it, he's unconscious at the bottom of the hole. Hilarious. I'm like, stupid.
I died laughing watching that.
Have you ever gotten frustrated? Like, I've been on Instagram so long, you swipe out of it, and then you naturally just click on the app again. You're like, what the fuck?
5 seconds
later.
Did
I just do that?
I do that shit all the time.
I wanted to know if I were alone with that.
No, I do it all the time
because I was like, I literally just got out of this app, and I opened it because my mind knew this is what's next to do.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
Yep. I'll be sitting there on Facebook and be like, all right, I got to get off Facebook. There's too much weird shit on Facebook right now.
Facebook
I'll close it out.
Is quite a bit of drama.
I'll go over to Instagram. I'll go over to YouTube or something, and I shit you not, 5-10 seconds later,
you naturally go back
on fucking Facebook.
And it's like, I did that subconsciously. That's a subconscious trait now.
And you know what they're doing the whole time you're doing that? They're adding it together. So when you're scrolling through, listen to me. When they're scrolling through,
the aliens.
Is there a button for when he says, listen to me?
I'll get to it. If you be patient for a second, it's coming.
Like
here
awkward,
it comes.
Awkward, like.
So, or shh, one of them. So when you are scrolling through there and you get out of it, it's keeping track of what it was that made you sick of it and get off. Like, they're paying attention to what you're paying attention to and what finally draws you out of it.
Sometimes the type of stuff. Nothing.
But
have you watched The Social Dilemma yet?
But I haven't even seen that yet.
Watch it.
Really?
Oh my God, it will change your life.
Yeah. See, I didn't want to watch it because I heard it was just depressing, man.
It's depressing because it shows you what these large companies, these large social media companies are doing, and how it is gradually changing. Even if it's a 1% change over the span of 20 years, that change is huge.
I watched a little bit, the first increment, and it was like...
Watch it.
Okay.
It goes
I think
deep.
I'm good, man. I don't want to watch it.
Oh, you got to watch it.
I also read that even on Netflix, they change the thumbnails of movies and show you the ones that based on how you click on things and what. Like,
I believe it.
They have an algorithm for what your thumbnails look like to get you to click on things.
Yeah, I believe it. 100%.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're learning that thumbnails make a difference in things. I mean, it's just the title and who's in it. And it doesn't,
Clickbait.
yeah, man, it doesn't. It's a total difference from that the cover of the book, man. Whether you pick it up or not.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I guess that's where my end. Because I've finally gotten to where, like, when I notice I'm like scrolling too long there, I'm like, what am I? How did I start doing this? And I'll set it down and grab my book, man. And God, it's the same thing. I'm like, there's something around here I can fix. You know what I mean? There's something around the house I can do. There's something, you know. But
balance in life. Gotta figure it out.
Yeah, the social media thing. Like I said, you know, there's the good that you can put stuff up there, man, and my family and friends can go, you know, at their own time or whatever, and it's always there. The other big thing that I really appreciate about Facebook, especially, is all the guys that I've been deployed with in this unit and that unit, or on this specific team or that. I would have no way of contacting the majority of these guys. And now some of the guys from my first time over, from when we went to the invasion of Iraq, that unit, there's a bunch of guys that we're all having a reunion out in Florida here in October, man. We're all coming together, a whole shitload of us, man.
Nice.
Yeah. When that wouldn't happen without Facebook.
Yeah,
Right.
You wouldn't even know about it. Yeah.
That's the thing, is like we couldn't get this many of us together. Because, I mean, how many guys are on that list? And I'm like, oh, my God, I forgot about that asshole.
Yep.
Holy crap, what's up, dude?
Yep.
You know, like, yeah, that's just, it's so long ago, man. Fucking 20 years ago.
Yep. And they've probably all changed their addresses, their phone numbers, their
Well, that's the
emails
thing, man.
20 times over.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, we were all stationed in Germany together. We didn't have cell phones.
No, I'm just saying in general,
But I'm
like
saying-
even if you had like a home phone number or something, they probably moved, changed their home phone
If they
number a
did,
couple
but they
times.
didn't, because we were all stationed in Germany. We didn't have each other's home of address from back in the States. You know what I mean? We didn't have all that. We didn't have a cell phone I didn't get a cell phone until I came back from Germany. When I first got stationed in upstate New York, that's why I have the
The New York number.
Yeah. It was my first cell phone number back. God, it was so long ago. But yeah, I mean, that's the benefits of it. But man, they really have figured out how to keep you locked in and to keep you on it. And it's tough,
drug.
man, because as much as like we want to promote on that ourselves and try to spread our word on it, you know what I mean? We're at the same time, we're just like, oh, dude, put it down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like,
experience life, experience training, experience bettering yourself. That's what I've been focusing on. And unfortunately, our platforms are a little bit lower right now. But personally, I think our lives are thriving, and we need moments like this before we have our big boom.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Like,
little breaks so that they come back stronger, and people see, oh shit, I didn't see them for a while. What have they been up to?
yeah, no, I'm 100% okay with it, because like I've taken this time over the last, since the pandemic first started, and that movie Free Solo came out.
Free Solo? I'm not familiar.
no clue.
Rock climber Alex Honnold.
Is that where he gets his arm stuck?
No, that's 127 hours. And that's
Oh, you're talking about, is this the one about the guy that finally ended up dying?
no.
But he was the one that, oh, okay.
No. So this guy, what
Man,
he
I'm
did was
way
he
off.
climbed El Capitan in Yosemite National Park,
Okay.
which is 3,000 feet straight up,
Mm-hmm.
like straight up granite.
Mm.
He did it without a rope.
Okay.
He just climbed the.
He's still alive?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lives here in town.
Spider monkey.
Shit. Because there's the guy, I remember seeing videos that when I was in North Carolina, when I was at Bragg, one of the guys that, when we kind of just did our own, PT. We just kind of picked it. And one of the things that we did once a week, we'd go rock climbing at this indoor gym. They'd open up early for us.
Nice.
That's where we went. And my buddy was trying to get me into it. I just, too goddamn heavy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
you gotta be a lot
100%.
skinnier for that shit. Like,
There's a lot of patience in that as well.
There is.
but I mean, it's that grip strength, man. And like none of those guys are big and buff.
No.
Because you're holding your entire body weight. Like,
Well, so
like
there's
multiple
little
times.
things that you pick up along the way. So like since seeing that movie when it first came out, I've been like slowly like, yeah, like that looks cool. Like I love hiking. I love being outside.
Yeah.
Never been into like rock wall climbing.
Yeah.
One, almost nobody would talk about it. Like it's always like, oh, you don't want to talk to those guys. They're weirdos. Or
Really?
Yeah.
I've never thought that.
Or it's too expensive. All the gear you need, the training and shit. That
Every
you have to go
single
through.
sport that it's
So,
always going to be expensive gear.
Right. And well, it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
To really get into this, you just need a pair of shoes. And you can get that as cheap as like $60.
And chalk.
Yeah, you can.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Chalk's like $20.
I'm just making shit up, dude. I don't know.
But going back to the whole taking the break thing, I've spent the last 9 months looking at this, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been really getting into it, really getting heavy into it, and I'm like, this is like a good kind of like reset period. My mind's able to like fully transfer over here for a little bit and kind of get into this hobby, and finally getting over the fear of even trying it and just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna go to this gym.
And us getting over these fears of those things we want to accomplish is going to make our company even stronger, because we have backing to this message we're trying to send out. Instead of just pushing and pushing, we want to spread training and knowledge and all this positivity around. Now we actually are people that are involved in our community, that have things going on, and that we can spread the Armed with Knowledge message throughout different venues, avenues.
I mean, my vision on this is us road tripping all over the country, man.
Trying everything.
Going all over the place.
Doing whatever.
And, you know, anybody who wants to follow us and see, you know, do this kind of training with these people over here, go over here and do this. And eventually, you know, I know tier 1 guys that are gone contractor and contractor guys that are into, you know, more of the spiritual side of things, and what gets them through. I mean, from plant medicine to meditation to, you know, I mean, it goes on and on and on. Things that, you know, used to be considered woo woo. I mean, these guys are taking advantage of this and expanding, you know, their mindset and expanding their lives. And by becoming more, I mean, they're the most peaceful dudes you ever met in your life now. And the most dangerous men you've ever met in your life as well.
Yeah, call it woo-woo.
But, I mean, that's what comes with it. I mean, they're, you know, you'll have a couple of them that'll talk about from microdosing, their accuracy and their speed in their training is tripled. And they acquire, you know, they attribute it to, you know, plant medicines and stuff, and it goes on to, you know, when we can find some guys like that we don't have to black out and change their voice to get them on here and talk about it. I want these guys to talk about this stuff, because that's the kind of stuff that I want us to expand into. Yeah. And you know, document our ayahuasca retreat in Peru, and document, you know, going to Norway with Wim Hof and doing his, you know, retreat, and, you know, document stuff like that. It's not just because we didn't start Armed with Knowledge as training for guns. That's
what it's come off to a lot of people as, because of our backgrounds. And that's why I love the fact that we're expanding right now. Like,
especially, and it came off that way because for us, the urgency was there for handgun training. Absolutely. Because of the increase. I mean, that's how we started off, which is fine with me. It's fine with me.
It's in our wheelhouse.
Yes.
It is.
It is very much in our wheelhouse.
You know, I mean, that's how the three of us came together. Yeah. Honestly, that's why we all know each other. So that makes sense. And that again is why, especially with the handgun stuff, because I mean, I'm not done harping on that.
You know, I don't think I'll ever be done harping on
that.
It
especially with the numbers, the growing numbers of gun owners. But it's, you know, when we talked about doing this, it wasn't just, you know, Brighton and I had our beginner training that we were doing for people because of the same reason. That information we believed we were doing it as cheap as possible, because we believe that was what we need to get out there to people. We need to get that information out there to people. So now we're putting a lot of that information into videos that people watch for free to get that information out there. And when we started doing this, when we started talking about Armed with Knowledge, what we called it R&R. We call it all kinds of crazy stuff. But when we were talking about this, it was about us learning. There's so much more. That there's so much more, and expanding who we are can help slow the world down, man, and helps you to appreciate things and recognize. And we talked about little things like in one of our most recent podcasts, we talked about just taking responsibility for your life.
Yep.
All those things that come from places that we'll start talking about here pretty soon. That I want to.
Speaking of taking control of life, I recently did a 30-day sobriety challenge, and wow, does that make you take life by the horns?
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing
Nope, sorry, wrong one.
I was going to say, I'm proud of that.
Where is it?
It's a joke.
There it is.
There
Found
it
it.
is. Man,
There it is. Good job, bro.
you should start labeling them.
Dealing with
I
real...
really need to.
Dealing with real human emotions without any vices, without anything to go back to. I recommend every single person does at least 30 days. I've learned so much about myself and so much about where I want to be and so much about the way I was treating the people around me, for sure.
Well, what's nice about the 30-day thing too, I don't know where I read this, but it was something along the lines of it takes 21 days to build a habit.
Yes.
So 30 days should be ingrained.
Absolutely.
So no, 30 days is great as opposed to just taking 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or,
I created a lot of new habits, a lot of positive habits. I reconnected with Livio. We've made our relationship a lot stronger. It was a really big blessing. And
Good.
so
cool.
Yeah, man. I also believe that your intention was where it was supposed to be for that as well. I mean,
right, because some
there's
people can do sobriety and just fucking hate every second and count down until they hit their goal, and then they're right back to where they were.
I mean,
Whereas
I used to do
now-
that too, because I used to drink so much, and I'm not just talking like that guy that says like, "Oh, I used to drink a lot of." I used to drink a lot of alcohol, like you guys can both attest to it. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of alcohol.
like,
I think
all
there's
the
a drinking
alcohol.
with Livio video that we can put on.
and
Are we in Iraq?
and it was actually normal for me a long time. I was doing this a long time ago. I'd get to where I would just decide I needed to take 30 days, 20 to 30 days to quit drinking, and I'd just decide to and do it, because I'd get through an entire bottle by myself and still be looking for something to drink, and I'm like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
My tolerance is way too high. So I would just stop, wait 20 or 30 days, and then start drinking. And I mean, you get through the neck of a bottle, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, slow down, bro, slow down. But then it would eventually turn into
Get the tolerance back up.
carrying a damn bottle around again and getting through the whole bottle by myself, and then realizing, okay, dude, slow back down. And I probably did that about 3 or 4 times in a row before, life changed for me a little bit, and I just kind of slowed things down. But then where that comes from, or where that led to, was there was a time, like prior to Brighton, when I was still working with you, that I was messing everything up, man. Everything. Both jobs I was working, I was messing. I was making things hard on you. I was making things hard on one of my really good friends, Matt, because I was underperforming and not even showing up, and it was for whatever reason. It wasn't for the right reason, obviously.
But you get into a vicious cycle where you're either chasing the bottle or recovering from the bottle, or chasing the bottle.
And I never had sympathy for anybody who acted the way that I was acting, because to me, I'm like, this shit don't happen overnight, bro. And it's not like you don't know what's going on. I'll tell you, it sure as hell feels.
It happens overnight.
It feels like overnight, but it's not like you're necessarily denying anything.
You're just too close to see the painting.
It really is,
Yeah.
man. You just, what I mean? You see that it's
You're just in it.
Yeah.
And
the details are so small. It's like
infinite.
one little thing at a time, and you're just kind of like, oh, that kind of sucks. I fucked that up.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of. But I mean, the whole picture. You're not seeing the whole picture, man.
Yeah.
You're so narrow, but what blows my mind thinking back is like, why would I think it was okay to wake up in a parking lot somewhere, try to figure out what parking lot I'm in, realized I got 20 minutes to be clocked in, haul ass back to work, and I never made it home.
Yeah.
And not go, man, what's wrong with me? Instead, I was like, oh man, that was a close one. You know what I mean? And I look back on that going like, what, dude? That's not you, man.
Yeah.
You know, like, how did you get there? How did you get, like, I mean, I get it, man. When I was in the military, that shit was funny. You know what I mean? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're going to barely make it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
crawling out into formation, barely, you know what I mean? Throwing it all up on the run. But that wasn't like real life, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to where, like, had a kiddo, had things I was going through that I was trying to, and I was messing it all up, man. And it wasn't until I recognized somehow, man, I recognized what I was doing to everybody around me, and including my kiddo, and it was like, cut it off. I had to cut it off. And I wouldn't say I cut it off like, you know, taking 20 to 30 days off. I cut it off as in like, wow, man, slow down. I didn't drop it. I just was a lot smarter about it. And I made some very big decisions about what was going on in my life at the time. I made some big changes. They hurt, but they were necessary. And from there, I mean, the world has changed. And I guess it's kind of like what goes along with what we were kind of saying, man, like that little break from, I guess even that little break from being the good guy, I feel like I've gone so much further that I guess I wouldn't trade that shit because of what I've learned from it, and the slingshot effect that I got from coming out of it. You know, like a cork being held under the water, man. When I finally realized and popped right out, man, yep. and have been higher than I've ever been.
Well, you learned something from it, though.
Yeah, you'll never have those highs if you didn't have those lows.
Yeah,
I mean, every shitty thing I've ever been through in my life has made me who I am today, and I'm so proud of that. I have a list of really, I could go on about negative stuff, but look at who I am. Mm-hmm. You know.
Well, that's the thing is, to me, the biggest part of all of that is that it's not just about learning your lessons from every experience you go through, you know, positive or negative, is huge, is absolutely huge. No matter what happens to you, man, find something to learn about it, and you got to let the rest go, especially if it's a negative thing. Carrying the weight, even if you screwed up and did somebody wrong, the hardest thing is to try to help somebody who's destroying themselves out of guilt, something that they did to somebody else. Yeah. When you're trying to explain to them, listen, you're not helping them. You're not helping you. I know that you feel like you're supposed to do this to yourself right now because of your own guilt, but you're really not helping them, and you're certainly not helping yourself. And taking the experience and learning what you can from it, and shedding the rest of it and growing from it, the best thing you can do is become the best person in the world. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, the person that you did wrong, depending on what it is, seeing you become a better person, especially out of something because of that, of all things, I mean, should be. If it was anybody like us, you know what I mean? It's going to be like, wow, man, good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come out of it. It's easy to forgive somebody that really tried to do something for themselves and make themselves better afterwards, instead of just drowning themselves in guilt. Where am I at with it? Oh, so that's huge. Making the decision to learn something from your negative experiences and letting the rest go. It's not easy. It sure as hell is not easy, but it's something that you get better at. I'm not going to say it gets easier. You get better at it. The more you practice it, the more you do it. More important than that is not identifying. So we tend to, especially with the way our lives are set up today and the way we go, how we learn things in school and what our social interactions, and we learn to identify with the things that we've been through, the things that we've done, the things that we've seen, whatever it is.
I act this way because I went through this.
Because you're identifying with these things that have happened to you, or the experiences, right?
It doesn't need to be like that.
We identify with these experiences, and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it doesn't have to be who you are. And you don't have to go through these horrible things. in order to shed that identity and create a new one.
It's become such common, I don't want to say common knowledge, but common action for people to say that. I act this way because this happened to me back in the day. And this has made me who I've become. I struggle with that the most. When I go back to the things that I think make me crazy, make me tick, or make me act the way I do today, I can't do that because I am a new person. And you need to, like, I don't know how to explain.
It's hard to wrap your head around it. When you can say it out loud, it's like this easier said than done notion of you.
I went through it, but I am not it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You are right now.
Yeah.
From here on is who you are.
Yeah.
Right now. Not anything else from before. You could start right this very second and be whoever it is. Now, it may take a while for, your surroundings, your environment to change to that and match that. But if you don't act on that this is who I am now, this is, acting on who it is that you really want to be and how you want to be, it may take a while for your environment to match that, but it will.
And
it absolutely will match it, man. And what I mean by that is you'll start to, people will treat you different. Your experience, you'll experience different people. You'll experience life differently. You'll see life differently. Like when your perspective changes, your energy changes, man. Mm-hmm. And people read energy more than you believe they do or not, man. And we can go into that for hours. But when you approach situations with this new identity and a new energy, man, it may take a while, but it will change. It will match you and what you identify with in yourself.
And the shadow work of whatever we're talking about needs to be done. If somebody has something that traumatized them or anything like that, you can change the way that you speak or what you use as an excuse, but you can't just bury those things because they come up eventually. Shadow work needs to be done. Nobody needs to know about it. But as you're going through these things and learning new things about yourself, you have to kind of forgive the underlying causes, if that makes sense. Am I saying that right?
So you
can't just bury what is.
So there's a difference between just bringing things up and actually facing them.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a huge difference with that. And that's why things like,
I use the word shadow.
That's why we bring up, like when we talk about like plant medicines, helping people with things like that. Like
Hey guys, sorry, got to pause the video here for just a second just to toss up a quick disclaimer. We're about to get into kind of a controversial topic involving the use of psychedelics. Now, we're not doctors, we're not condoning it or saying go do it or try it. Do your own research and information gathering. We're just relaying the information to you as it's been presented to us, either through various other articles, other podcasts, that kind of thing. Take it for what it is. It's entertainment. With that being said, let's get back into it.
Not hard to find. I didn't look any of this up for this conversation. I didn't know we were having this conversation, but if we ever have this conversation where I like intentionally, there's endless Johns Hopkins, there's endless amounts today of studies being done on depression, PTSD, with plant medicines being psychedelics, and in tiny little doses and macro doses, and through the proper set and setting through therapy, it's curing these things with people. But it if you talk to them or when you read their side of it, they weren't cured of anything. They were just able to.
It was brought to
recognize
light and recognize.
Well, it's you can look at these things that terrify you, or that these things that change your body chemistry every time they come to your mind. You get to look at them without that.
Yeah.
You get to look at them from a different perspective and recognize them almost from the outside looking in. When if you can't just do that. Sometimes there's things that without long time spent in therapy sessions after session, they're finding can be done in like 1 or 2 sessions.
Yeah.
And it has to do with, and you talk to psychologists, or psychiatrists, you know, you talk to people that work people through these situations. That's basically what they have to figure out how to do, is look at things from the outside, look at these situations, be able to approach the situations from a different mindset or a different perspective, so that you can in that moment, seeing these things in a different perspective, you can let it go. You can be okay now. Like, you can see it and address it and face it without it being this big nasty monster that's facing you.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, the guy, God damn it, like I said, I don't have my notes, but the founder of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, he got off of alcohol, but never touched it again after like 1 or 2 sessions with LSD. Therapy sessions. He didn't just go home and take a bunch of acid and I'm not an alcoholic anymore.
This is so much better.
That's not how that shit works.
No, he went through.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that like people's minds or people's worlds haven't been changed by their own self-medicating versions of that. I mean, sure, there's also been some bad notions to that. So this therapeutic session, I don't remember if it was once or twice, never touched another drop. And he actually had like and this is me trying to remember, you know, I read 2 different articles about this. I believe he had like a 60% success rate doing the same thing for other people.
That's awesome.
And the best thing about that to me is when you're using these plant medicines and psychedelics with stuff like this to expand people's knowledge or to help them face things and give them this different perspective, is you're done with it, man. It's not this medication that you're stuck on forever.
Yeah.
And it's not this medication that you need another medication to handle the side effects of that medication.
Yeah.
And nothing
It's
like
a
that,
therapy
man.
that actually ends.
There's no damn side effects. You know what I mean? And even if the therapy is a micro dose, which is, you know, you could take it 1 day on, 2 days off, whatever, however you're doing that, or 3 days on, 2 days off, however, right? There's different ways of doing that. Even that, there's no side effects, man. And you just stop when you stop, and nothing happens to you when you stop. You know what I mean? Like, there's permanent effects, positive effects from microdosing studies that have been done for people that are on it that microdose for a couple months to have just deep-seated depression, and they say they you know, couple months of microdosing and 2 years later they're still doing great with no depression. And you know, I'm obviously it doesn't happen like that every single time, but if it's a real thing, man.
Yeah, I guess if you can help one person, that's really all that matters.
I mean, honestly, it's to me, it's better than being on pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, multiple pharmaceuticals for the rest of your life, if it works for you. It's not for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody. You know what I mean? And it's a bad idea to jump into psychedelics not knowing if you're like predisposed to schizophrenia and shit, because apparently that it's an onset. So there are things that, you know, I would never sit here and try to tell people like, hey, everybody go down and try to do. That's not a good idea at all.
Do your research.
Do your research. Disclaimer.
Please.
And there's clinics, man. They're growing and they're growing, and it's gonna be a real thing, and it's gonna be. I mean, I believe this century is going to be an expansion of, the mind and the spirit, man. I believe it, because like I said, man, I know some of the most dangerous people I've ever met in my life are up to their, you know, up to their nose in it, man. And they've become the most peaceful people I've ever met in my life, like I said before. And I just, knowing that in the 70s, when the government decided to ban psychedelics and make them this big, dangerous, scary thing, they had to lie in order to do it. And what I mean by that is they started labeling Schedule 1, Schedule 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order for something to be a Schedule 1 drug, it has to be highly addictive, and have zero medical benefits. I'm not saying that nobody can go out there and do too much for too long. That's absolutely possible. Absolutely. Everything is in moderation, right?
Gotcha.
Everything in moderation. Aspirin will kill you.
Yeah. Sugar will kill you.
Yeah, I mean, Tylenol, obviously.
Yeah.
So the whole point I'm trying to make, being a Schedule 1, you can't get addicted to it. And to say that it has no medical benefits, well, for decades before they banned it, it was proven over and over again, the medical benefits of it, let alone thousands of years of people all over the world using psychedelics medically and spiritually. To say that it doesn't have any medical, I mean, they're based on, they put it in a category based on nothing but lies, out of fear. Every argument that we've had, that we've ever heard, whether it's, well, it's a poison. It's not. It's not. It's the toxicity levels in, say, like a psilocybin mushroom, like most of the strands that you would see here in the United States. So not like Amanita muscaria. That's the one with the red ones with the white dots all over it.
Okay.
There's a toxicity level in those. It's a little higher, which is why in ancient times they'd have either the shaman would eat them, and then his body would filter out the toxins and people would drink the urine, or they would actually, that sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's real. or
they'd
actually have, which is, the story of Santa Claus, right? Where there's tracing back to where the reindeer were used. They would feed the psilocybin mushrooms, the Amanita muscaria, to the reindeer, so that their bodies would filter out the toxins, and you could drink their urine and get the effects from the psilocybin. That's a side note to what I was talking about. What I was getting at was, as far as the toxicity, you're not experiencing, like, it's misleading to say that, well, the reason that you're experiencing what you're experiencing is because you ate a poisonous mushroom. That's not what's happening. What's happening is there's receptors in your brain that receive serotonin that also receive what's called psilocin. So where your body is breaking down the psilocybin in the mushroom, throughout this mushroom, there's psilocybin. It breaks down into what's called psilocin, and the psilocin is what attaches itself to the receptors, your serotonin receptors, your happy receptors, right? But your brain still receives them differently than serotonin, obviously.
Yeah.
Much differently. But we also know that even primates don't get the same effect by eating these. They get some, but their receptors don't take in the psilocin the way that the human brain does. Nothing on the planet does. So I guess that was accidentally episode 10.
See,
Whoopsies, we did episode 10.
didn't mean to.
Yeah, I mean,
Whoops, made a podcast.
actually, I kind of like how that went down. Hopefully you guys like it.
Just go with your gut instinct. It's all we got to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, let's put this together, turn this into a podcast, and see what happens.
Yep.
Please don't forget to let us know how you feel about this one. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Find us on our Instagram. We also have a shop open. Stickers, t-shirts, and everything you need.
Absolutely. And don't forget, take a break every now and then. It's okay to hit the reset button.
Hit it.
And with that said, always remember, run your drills, not your mouth.